Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
I just had sex, and it felt so good.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, presented by Darling Way, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, hello, darling friends. Welcome to Come With Us podcast today. This is the naughty, fun, sexy education we all wish we'd had years ago, but I swear I don't even think anybody I knew the term pegging, but that's what we're talking about today. I say it's pegging, not Peggy, lol. So here we go. I'm here with Aaron and Tina and our guest, Viking, who actually is going to tell us all about why a good-looking straight man might still find enormous pleasure and passion and excitement in pegging. So thank you so much. And heads up, this may not be a good conversation for you to be listening to with other people who are not open-minded and really intrigued by all things sexy, just because it can be pretty exciting. All right, welcome. How are y'all today, Tina, Aaron, Viking?
Good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Doing great.
So exciting. It's nothing like just starting a conversation. Ooh, see, I'm losing my voice already, just getting all excited about pegging. All right, Viking, thank you so much for being here and being a guest on our show and being willing to share your personal experiences with pegging. So first of all, I will tell everybody that if you don't want to answer something, please feel free just to laugh at us, say no fucking way, anything that you want. But it frees us up to ask all the questions that we want without having to filter ourselves. So we appreciate it. And again, we're going to laugh with you, not at you. And the same thing, just general rules apply. Right. And I know Aaron is like, oh, this is
I never sign any waiver saying I don't laugh at people. I laugh at people every day.
No, that's not a nice way to be.
Who said I was fucking nice?
Me.
No.
I don't hang out with
I
people
never
who
agreed to
aren't
be
nice. No. Nah, you wouldn't be here. You're a teddy bear. As you said earlier today, just when we got here, something about all men are, what'd you say? Alligators and inside with the teddy bear
Alligators
heart.
who swallowed a teddy bear.
There you go. So that's it. Anyway. All right. But I know, right, as a straight guy, Aaron, when did you hear about pegging? Do you recall?
When you brought it up.
Yeah. Okay. Which is fairly in the past few years, at least, if not this year. Yeah. It's something that
years ago on the radio, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do say things on the radio. I can't even remember, but yeah. Okay, that's good. But otherwise, it's not something guys went around going, oh, yay, I want to do this. I want to do this, right?
Again, none of the guys I talk to.
No. All right. No. So Viking, you're 17 feet tall. You're good looking. You're young. You're straight. So how does a nice boy like you, forgive that, right? But get into pegging?
Good question. Just starting off, I think the first time I ever had any experience with any type of anal play on my side was I was at a beach excursion with a bunch of kinky people, and we had gotten a permit, and we had made a border of cars around so that we could just be naked and run around and do whatever. And my girlfriend at the time, we were making out by her truck, and she just spun me around and put my hands on the truck like I was getting arrested. And the next thing I knew, I was getting a rim job, and I was like, holy cow. Well, shoot, this feels really good. Like,
wow.
I've heard of this. I've seen it in porn, and I've, never done anything like this, but heck yeah, this feels great. So,
Okay. And to clarify, because there'll be people out there who won't know what rim job is. And it's the same, I think, as tossing the salad, which I totally don't understand how that association, right? But what's a rim job is where they're licking around your asshole.
Yeah. Or someone's giving you oral pleasure on your asshole.
Okay. Just what other words are there for it? Tina, do you know other words? What else do people call rim jobs? Tossing the salad? Am I overlooking something else?
I don't know.
I can't think of any others, but okay.
I'm sure there are euphemisms for it.
There you go. I couldn't even think of the word euphemism. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, okay. Just because that way it helps. Otherwise we hear these things and go, what? I have no idea. It's like, all right. Okay. So that was it. So then you started recognizing that there was pleasure there. And I'll tell you, it's not a surprise because people may not realize, but a woman has about 8,000 nerve endings in her clit. A guy has about 4,000 nerve endings around his cock. But around the anus, it's about 4,000 nerve endings, whether you're a boy or a girl. So there is a lot of pleasure there waiting to happen if you're willing to take a chance. I just did a video, by the way, on YouTube on that your butt is not a one-way street. So that's just, logically, it's just not. You don't have 4,000 nerve endings there to poop. But okay, so then how do you progress from enjoying rimming? What was the next stage or the next phase? Or
I did have a girlfriend that while giving a blowjob, she would, stimulate me with a finger and then sometimes penetrate. And once again, it's like, wow. And that it's a good example to bring up because, like you said, with the nerve endings, getting a blowjob is like, let's call it a level 5 of stimulation. And then when you add, a finger or something, you basically double the level of stimulation. So you're kind of like, holy cow. Like, it kind of gives you that. It's almost like sticking your tongue on the 9-volt battery. Like, oh, wow, this is like really intense. Like those are the 2 big buttons for most men, depending on whether or not they have sensitive nipples or something. But that was amazing.
No, that's true. So did she ask consent for putting her finger up your butt?
That's funny because the first time I ever heard of that was a girlfriend who was a really dirty talker, but she never delivered. And she kept telling me, like, when we were out to dinner, like, oh, I'm going to give you a blowjob and I'm going to stick my finger in your butt while I'm doing it. I was like, okay. And she never did it.
Oh,
I was like, and then,
some of us are good talkers and it's easier.
But then I've dated several people since then. And obviously, once you're confident about it, doesn't bother you. Like, hey, why are you giving me a blowjob? You think you could, use your fingers a little bit,
Oh, that's good. So you'll ask for it.
Oh, absolutely.
See, that's such an evolved man. That's like Tina will ask for what she wants, which is, again, I'm older. I'm still the oldest one at the table. And it's very hard for me to ask for what I want in the moment, really. Like in advance, I'm happy to say in my radio voice and, whatever, this is what I like and da-da-da. But in the moment, I think that's so incredible that y'all can do that and that you're comfortable. So I think that's important. How did you start? Tina, you've actually pegged
just once.
So did you have like a lead up? Like, did you go through these little steps first?
Well, it was only with one guy. So he had done this before, so he knew what was going on. Like, he was the one who told me what to do. So I guess not really.
You hadn't just forgot. You just like jumped in.
Oh, well, I mean, I've probably put my finger up. Yeah, I have. Like, other people, like, use my fingers, but like not. And I guess with him, sure. Okay. But this was just something that he asked for, and I was okay with. Like, I mean, that I, never done. Mm-hmm. And then,
And then you liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. We had fun. We had a little bit of like a, oh God. We had like a little bit of a mishap because we had to go like the emergency room at one point. Right. So that wasn't cool, but it was fine. That wasn't the first time we did it. So I think there was just like the toy. We used one of my toys and like, it wasn't really pegging. It was just like stuck up there during, I guess, foreplay or whatever. And it wasn't definitely not the right toy.
Because it didn't have, so the deal is anything in the butt is a vacuum. And there's 20 feet of colon for it to get sucked up in. I say the pussy, it's a cul-de-sac. There's a dead end to it. But if anything you're doing in the butt does need to have a very flared, big, wide base that stops it from getting sucked up. And that's something people should know, because that's such an easy mistake to avoid if people had actually talked about it first, right? You wouldn't have.
Yeah, I would have never. I mean, I would have. I don't know if I even would have. Sorry, no offense. I guess it was like in the moment and stuff. But looking back now, that made me like definitely. It was. I mean, it's funny now, but incredibly like. I don't know who was more embarrassed, like me or him or the ER doc like guy.
Right. It's just all around.
I mean, they see it all the time. Like,
sex sent me to the ER is basically all about things getting lost up a butt, and they can stay up there for a long time. And I don't know if he had to have surgery or not. But
No. They got it out.
Okay. There are people that have to have surgery to get. But
I was a pretty good
out.
person. I like stuck around.
That was good.
Yes.
Yeah, I know we talked about this before I forgot which episode, but
it's probably our anal one.
Oh, probably was our anal one.
Our all about anal, yeah.
There you go. So you can go back and listen to that.
But
that
anyways,
was really interesting.
So be careful, and it was fun. Like, I'm not sure I would do it again if someone asked me to. That's totally fine. I'm not sure it's something that I like particularly like. It's one of those things that turns me on totally. So, but also like I think it's like. It's a preference of the man more than like I don't know. the woman. So, you know, I think it's
I think it's both. I think because if one of you is not getting too much pleasure out of it, it diminishes the others, right? It's just really hard to have a really great time when somebody else isn't having a really great time with you. So I think that it can ramp it up.
Well, I mean, it's just, outside of just straight normal vanilla sex, most every other thing that the deeper you go into that pool, everything is, both people have to be on it, because you're not going to have...
Well, even with regular vanilla sex, right? It's just
yeah,
not
but
that great
a lot
when
more
one
people
person's
can have the ability to,
fake it.
stick in, go, hey, I'm done.
Yes.
With, like, when you start getting further into that sexual pool, like, especially with, like, BDSM stuff, if the other person isn't buying into it, and they're not into it, the person who's getting the most out of it can tell, and then it ruins, because it's a lot of playing off of what the other person does and how the other person reacts.
Right.
And I don't care who you are. Meryl Streep couldn't fake her way through a good BDSM scene with an actual dom or an actual sub, and they would still be able to read through her fucking emotions if she's not into it. Yes. Period.
I think that's true. And the only thing I say is that it's actually a little bit sad that when it comes to quote missionary position or quote vanilla sex, that people are willing to overlook somebody else's lack of enthusiasm. Because I think that you can tell. Sometimes we just don't care that much, or we don't make it like a big deal. But I just advocate for everybody being really passionate and excited all the time.
Yeah, I actually refer to that as nonverbal consent, to where when you're doing something with somebody and their body language is just telling you, not so much. It's kind of like, on the topic of today.
Yeah.
If a girl's giving a guy a blowjob and she starts to slide her hand between his legs and his legs start to tense up and close, he's not saying no with his mouth, but he's kind of saying, that's not interested in that. And I think
that's a good point. So that's when people should actually explicitly say, hey, is this okay? And can we proceed further or something? That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. But, okay. So how did you find it? Like, was it a challenge, Viking, for you to accept the fact that you liked, the idea of pegging as opposed to just kind of a finger? Somehow a finger just feels like, oh, it's just in the moment. It just accidentally happened. And we can, as women, we do this all the time. Oh, we got carried away. Right. But pegging, somebody has to take the time. You have to get some sort of probably harness, you have to get some sort of dildo, and then it happens. It's not just like, ooh, before I knew it, this was happening.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years where I kept thinking about it and liking it, and just like, I guess, many things on a date night where I had a few drinks at dinner and we came home, we started having sex, and I was like, hey, I really want to try this, and it's, I always said a lot of times when someone's really been itching for something and they're kind of embarrassed about it, or
yes,
it's one of those things that's out of that circle, of comfort, that usually a few glasses of wine at dinner and a little bit of fun, you finally go, I want to do something, And then I went shopping and got a harness and a dildo, and then we planned it out on a future night.
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
How was that build up too? Because like you finally, like you described, you finally just, fuck it, I'm just going to throw it out there, and you throw it out there. But this also isn't like a, hey, I really like, it's not like somebody who's been a vegetarian for 10 years looking at their significant other and going, you know what? I really want a fucking good rare steak. And they go, okay, cool. Let's go and get in the car. We'll go to the grocery store. We'll go to the restaurant real quick. Like something like this, you can throw it out there. And if your partner's receptive to it, unless you have already bought and stored and hidden all the things without them knowing, that's a long period of throwing it out there, them receiving it, saying, yeah, let's do it, and then getting to your actual payoff. Like, how is that? Does that build the intensity more and more? Like with going shopping for things and trying to decide and doing that thing together, does that build the intensity more and build the like suspense? Or did the suspense kind of crest when you finally were just like, fuck it, this is what I want? And she was like, yeah, sure.
I would say that the first part was obviously there's a level of anxiety, right? Because, it took a few happy hour drinks, but when going shopping and doing it, it's like the hair on the back of your neck is tingling, and you kind of have a smile like, the kid who's just, mom said he could buy a toy or whatever, and I get to pick a toy. It was definitely like a plane taking off.
It just keeps going and going. Yeah.
That's a good thing. And was your partner at the time, had she ever experienced pegging somebody before?
No.
Okay, so this is new to her too.
Mm-hmm.
Was she nervous about it?
No.
No. See, okay, I like that. It says a lot about the comfort level and everything. But because I know for me, even if I want to do something, I get nervous and I say like riding a roller coaster. I get a very nervous, excitement, scared, and that's part of the thrill for me. But all right, so then how was it, the shopping experience and everything? Because frankly, I don't know if you came to me. Did I help you with the first harness and dildo? I can't even remember.
I'm sitting here looking in the air, the scan through my brain thing. I don't think I bought my first one from your store. I bought my second one from your store.
Okay. So when you went in, because I have helped a lot of people with their first one, but they're usually very nervous and hard. Did you just go like grab something and everything, or did you actually talk to someone about what you needed? How did you figure out what you were going to use?
Oh, no, I have no anxiety at all. In fact, one of the things I do when I'm dating someone is I get all their measurements. And I remember walking into like a Victoria's Secret, and the ladies kind of walk up to you kind of like,
but
there's a guy in here.
Victoria's Secret doesn't sell harnesses and dildos.
No, fair enough.
Just FYI.
No, fair enough. But
so when you went to a sexy to get the harness and stuff, do you talk to them? Did you ask them for help? Everything, or you just figured out what you wanted on your own?
No, I was just rolling in, and I went to a handful of shops, and I was looking for something that looked good and looked like it was going to last a long time, just like anything else, right?
Right. That's a good thing, because there's such a variety of quality of harnesses, and some are just these simple leather things. Some of them are these, I don't even know. What are they called? The straps that you put on luggage or something. They're that sort of material. And
some of them are just like the metal ring, and the metal ring is clipped on by like a thin leather strap or maybe even other material, and those are all right, but the problem with those is they're not really in one place.
Yes, they move.
So if the girl wants to do something else, like hold the guy's legs or play with his nipples or his cock or anything, there's going to be a lot of times where she's got to kind of put her hands on her hips, or else it's going to slide down or slide sideways or something, whereas something with a nice big like triangular base that it doesn't have to be super firm, but the more material that is there, the better. And I know that at your shop, the second one I bought, we also bought this ring.
Yes.
That slides in behind.
We call it a stabilizer ring.
A stabilizer ring, and that makes things to where once you put it on and have it just nicely tight, it's almost like having a penis.
Yeah, it stays in place, and so I think just for anybody out there who's thinking of just experiencing it for the first time, you can get like for $30 or something, or actually there's a beginner set that is pretty awesome, a bend over beginner set from Tantas that has a harness that's so but has good dildos, and at least you'll keep the dildos for a while. But then if you're really going to get into it, I think Spare Parts does by far and away the best harnesses ever, and those are the ones, the second one you got, that really stay in place. They're big enough, they can handle a dildo of any size, and they even have little compartments to put a small bullet vibe, so that while she's wearing the harness, then she's getting some vibrations and stuff on her clit while she's doing it. Yes, very fun.
It actually.
That's the one we're going to get for you if you start engaging in pegging again, Tina.
So it did come with the bullet, and it works both ways. It stimulates the woman, and I can feel it too.
Yeah, feel it through. It's awesome. So, okay. And then did you start with a really small dildo to start? Because that, I think, is really important for people, FYI.
I just got one that was basically the same size as me. So
wow. We're all picturing now what Viking looks like, right? That's kind of an interesting thought, but okay. And use good lube, people. FYI, use good silicone lube, and make sure that it doesn't have any glycerin in it, because glycerin in your butt makes you poop. That's like glycerin suppositories and stuff. They're laxatives, yes. So using a good lube is a big difference. You want things to go in smoothly and come out smoothly. All right, so then how did it go in terms of, was the first time women have penetrative sexy, it's not necessarily that great. Was your first time having anal pegging, was that good, or was it awkward, or I don't know?
Oh, no, it was actually amazing. And I had an orgasm while we were doing it. And the funny thing is my refractory period for sex is normally like an hour or so. Like, not only is to get it working, but even to want it again. Like there's that, okay, I'd like to have a beer or take a nap or cuddle or whatever. And then, but we had sex like 15 minutes later, and I came again. So I was
Wow, you were good to go. Wow.
I was like, man, I'm pumping my numbers up today. Like this is awesome. I don't,
And was it when you had an orgasm? Was it cock stimulated orgasm, or was it purely from anal, i.e., which would probably have stimulated your prostate?
Yeah, no, I still have not found the nirvana of being able to have an orgasm without any cock stimulation.
Okay.
Every once in a while we try it,
Yeah.
nipple clamps and pegging, but so far I have not found the magic combination to do that.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I haven't found the magic combination of having just orgasm from just penetration, so I understand that it would be nice. But okay, and then what about? I always think that I would be bad at pegging because I don't have rhythm, and I get bored in about 2 seconds. So, how important is rhythm and everything for a woman to have when she's doing that to you?
Oh, it's very important. I think it goes both ways, right? I think it's the same thing as a woman having sex. Once she starts enjoying it, the golden rule is like, don't speed up because she's yelling louder. Like you're hitting the right beats per minute right now. Don't start to speed it up or slow it down.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, it's probably a good thing I don't have a cock permanently. It would be dangerous. But all right, do y'all have questions? Aaron, Tina, y'all are being like kind of quiet. Aaron, are you like building up the urge to have this experience?
I mean, no, not really.
No.
But I mean, I'm never going to say never.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's good. I see.
But,
that's why I like you. Good for you.
yeah, I don't know.
I've done it before. I'll do it again. Yeah, definitely. From what Viking said, it seems like a healthy way to practice what you like. Yeah.
Did you use a harness when you did?
No.
Okay,
It was just he had like a dildo, a butt like plug or something. It was like a butt dildo basically.
Okay, so a dildo
It had
would
like
probably be more like the shape and everything of a cock, and a butt plug would be just a little,
it
short
wasn't
or
a
something.
plug. It was like a dildo. It was like vibrating, but it had a tapered end. But the one that like we got stuck was mine. It was like just a small, like
a bullet shaped.
Yeah, something.
Yep. That happens. People do that. There was one guy, I think we talked about this, who had one up. He was traveling in Europe, and for 3 days, the thing was up his colon vibrating until he went to the emergency room when he got home. That sounds painful to me.
Yeah, it was definitely not comfortable, but it happens. It's not the worst.
So did you have the urge? Like, do you think you'd enjoy that hip motion?
Yeah.
I've heard that it takes because women, we don't do that motion on a regular basis for sexy, that there are different muscles and everything involved. So was she kind of exhausted at the end? Did it feel like a big workout?
Oh yeah, no. There's everyone I've done pegging with, when it's been a longer session, there's like, holy cow, I had no idea how much exercise you guys put into sex.
Oh, really?
Like I've heard a statement like that several times.
That is kind of funny. That's it. So they should have pole dancing classes, and then I'm sitting here rocking my hips as I speak. So they need to have pegging lessons where we just all like shift our hips and practice those muscles. I wonder if our physique would be different.
Well, see, that wouldn't work technically, because regular hip thrusts are fine, and you can do that, and you can go, oh wow, that works a lot more of your outside hip abductors and stuff, like on the outside.
Yeah,
that works than I thought. But it's different when you have resistance. So when you're fucking, you're not just like thrusting into nothing. Like there's actual resistance pushing back on you. So it takes even more muscle than what you're actually contemplating in your head. So what you think of like what you're thinking as you're rocking back and forth, you're like, oh yeah, I could see how that would work out certain muscles. But now add in another variable of you have another person and in another body weighing near what you do or more that is pushing back on you the whole time.
Ooh.
So it takes a lot more. Like, yeah, I mean, women should probably try this every now, like try it with their man, because that might give you some fucking appreciation of all the work he does. When you said, no, I don't ever want to get on top. Cool.
Yeah, I don't
Guess
like
what?
being on top.
You're gonna have to learn the muscle and the endurance it takes.
Yeah, I get bored and stuff on top, and I'm like, oh, I know Tina loves being on top, but yeah, for me, I'm like, oh God, it really is. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's an endurance thing that guys don't get enough fucking appreciation for.
Yes, okay. See, they probably don't get enough fucking sometimes, or appreciation. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. Now I want to try. Maybe I'll get a fleshlight and a harness and try and do it, because I really am afraid. I've had offers. God, I have lots of guys be like, oh, you want to peg me? I'm like, no, not really. just want a fleshlight or something, and I'll try it that way. I don't know. That's just my kind of silly. So, so how often do you do this? Like, Viking, do you like pegging, being on the receiving end of pegging as much as you like fucking a woman, or both? Or like, do you want, I don't know. How do you decide which one you want?
Good question. You know, I feel like I do it once or twice a month. It's not every week all the time.
Okay.
I think once again, like with a lot of relationships, when people keep doing the same things too much, things like this are a great different thing to do every once in a while, right? What's the word?
So it's like the ice cream sundae. I say like ice cream is good, and people can eat ice cream on a regular basis. But so this is the sundae. It's when you go out of your way to make something a little bit different and add a different, topping and sprinkles of whipped cream and sherry. And okay, that's kind of cool. But then
novelty was the word I couldn't get out about
novelty.
It's kind of a novelty. It's this is not a great example, but every once in a while, I don't know why, but I want that pizza buffet place that's so famous. It's horrible. But sometimes I'll drive by and go, man, I haven't had that in years. And you pull in and you pay $4 for a pizza buffet.
Yeah.
Then you leave and you're like, I'm not telling anybody I did this.
Yeah. And then the next couple of days you're like, oh God, why did I do it? Yeah.
Okay, except I want everybody to tell people that they're doing pegging, because I just think it's equal opportunity. And again, it's just pleasure. And the way that if you believe in the divine creation or whatever, we have these bodies. They are literally gifts from the divine. And I think that we should use them and enjoy them in every which way that we possibly can. Get as much pleasure. I mean, healthy and consensual, of course. But so to me, pegging, I think there's a lot out there. And I am amazed how much it is gaining popularity among mainstream, more, the straight hetero community and stuff, which I think is good, because I think gay men are looking going, you idiots, we've been telling you this for years, you just didn't want to believe us. And I say, what about, like, have you ever had a woman who was like concerned that, are you gay because you want me to peg you or something like that? Because that's such a mean, but it's an accusation that does happen.
No, not personally. I mean, when I got into this, I was already into BDSM and kink, so everyone I've dated has been kinky, so it's not really been an issue at all.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, I think the easy answer is that if you want someone to basically fuck you in the butt, and you want that person, if you're a boy and you want a boy to do that, then you might be gay or bi or something. If you're a woman and you want a guy to do it, then maybe we can call you kinky. We can give people different labels, but the fact is, again, there's all sorts of pleasure to be had, whatever we are. And it's pretty silly to say, only this category of person gets to enjoy this kind of pleasure. It's like, if you want to kiss somebody, just depends who you want to kiss. And but everybody should have that pleasure. And the same thing with butts. So
I agree.
All right. So what about different sizes? Have you gotten different bigger dildos or anything? Because some people, that's one of the ways that they increase the novelty of pegging, is they change out the dildos.
I did once, and you find out really quickly what your comfort zone is. And I don't do it all the time, so I don't know that I've got to upgrade on a regular basis. It's almost like someone with sports cars, if they drive their car every day, they're eventually going to go, I need a turbo. I need this to go faster. And it is, like I said earlier, so stimulating that, it is kind of like you see stars and you temporarily forget where you are if the person has already figured out all your buttons and what to do. So I haven't, I upgraded and it hurt. And that thing's probably been sitting in the drawer for 2 years.
Okay, so I like that. So heads up, people, right? It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. In fact, if it's uncomfortable, if that's part of your kink or your turn on, great. Otherwise, it's good to be able just to say, nope, this feels good. This is the way I like it, and just keep it going. I think that's an important lesson. And it's just like a woman, size, like bigger is not always better when it comes to cocks. And it's, I think, definitely true when it comes to butt stuff. So that's a good thing. All right, have you had any bloopers? Pegging bloopers?
No, other than having to clean up something on the floor or on the bed, just because we always use a lot of lube, which you mentioned using good lube.
Yeah.
And like when we start, I always lie a towel on the bed, and the best thing to do is to get on all fours and let the woman get a glove and lubricant, and stimulate you, put her finger inside of you, get lube on the toy. More is almost always better, but when you go more is better, there are times where you look around and you realize you spilled like a couple of shots of lube on the floor. So you got to make sure and do cleanup afterwards.
That's good. Okay, yeah, and pick your position in terms of, or location well. And that's, so from position, you prefer the on all fours? Because I think a lot of men I've heard sometimes prefer like the face to face, so they might be on their back with their legs up and stuff.
No, I do like to be on my back because like I have very sensitive nipples. So you play with those, you can see my eyes roll back and all you see is white.
Yeah.
And I have done it on a spanking bench, which is actually great. They're all great, right? Let me preface this. So number one, my favorite is, like I said, on your back. There's a face to face you can kiss, and everything else. But like a spanking bench, you're perfectly seated on this padded device, and so you don't have to, you don't have to balance or do anything.
Yeah, I think spanking benches, we should change the name because people are like, oh, if I don't like to spank, then I don't need one. But I think they're sexy benches. So how can we describe, Aaron, can you think you know what a spanking bench is?
No, I'm about to find one.
Yeah, so I was thinking we should explain this to our listeners because, again, these are things that until you just don't even know they exist. But it looks like, I guess, a sawhorse, right? Or maybe two sawhorses connected by a middle section that would, for me, it would go like from my chest to my pelvis that I could lean on. And then it would have two sidebars on each side, one like for your arms to go down. So you basically are on all fours, but supported by this bar in the middle, right? Am I describing that well, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then a place at the back for your legs to go on.
Yeah, well, the bars, what ends up happening is your shins and your forearms end up there.
Yeah.
So you're in that doggy style position, but you're completely supported. Like you can just completely relax.
Yes, because they're padded. Don't get me wrong. Like it doesn't have to be. It's not uncomfortable. It can be a very lovely. It's a great way to get a good massage too. By the way, I like it because it doesn't have a flat table for a massage. I think is not that great. But FYI, okay. So on a spanking bench, yeah. So that's a great place to be pegged. It's a great place as a woman to be fucked anally or vaginally. So. Yes, or to hang your clothes when you're not using it for sexy stuff, just by the way.
Another important thing to bring up, especially if it's at the guy's house and the girl's coming over, is to bring different sized heels. Because if you're doing it on the bed or the spanking bench, you walk up and a big Viking like me, on the spanking bench, a girl might need to wear heels to be at the right level. I did not think of that. Because there have been many times where it's like, oh, we got to do on the bed. I got to be on my knees. Or I've even seen like someone grab a couple of books, put them on the floor so that the girl can get just 2 more inches taller. Oh my God, that would be me, and I would slip. The books would slide. I'd be an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, that would be. That's where my mind went. Is if you're standing on things that are not attached to you. Yes. Like all it takes is the one like getting into it and extra force, and your feet slip out from under you, and then you're really fucked. Yeah, really in shit trouble.
In more ways than one. Yeah, a little bit of lube in the wrong place and you just slide. So I hadn't thought about. Okay, so height difference. That's a very important factor that I just hadn't realized. So okay, that's kind of fun. Yeah, fun visuals here. Okay, I want to hear if any of our listeners have had any of these bloopers when it comes to pegging and stuff. Please send them in so that we can share them with others. Again, so we can laugh with you, despite whatever Aaron said. But also so people can learn, because I wouldn't have thought of different high heels and different heels.
Yeah, if you actually want to get in touch with us, you can. You can just email us at comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. That's comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. We won't share your name. We won't tell the story on air unless you want us to. And even if we do, we won't share your name, again, unless you give us explicit permission that, hey, you can say my name is Bob and my wife accidentally used a dildo that was too big on whatever. Comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. And while you're doing that, while you're at your browser, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, and follow us, Come With Us Podcast, and then hit up Twitter if you have Twitter, and at Come With Us Pod. Anytime you're there, go to wherever you're listening, Apple especially, but Google, Spotify, any of those other ones. Make sure if they have a rate and review button, I know Apple does, go for it. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, let us know what you like so other people can find us, and you can, make more people happy. Yes. Because the more people that find us, the better sex they have, and, well, maybe this whole world will be a better place.
I know. People are so much chiller when they're having good sexy, I swear. It's much better. So, yeah. So thank y'all. Really, it means a lot to us. Every review, every comment, every email we get, it does. It makes a big difference to us, and it inspires us to keep going. So, and heads up, you can go to sexyedschool.com because we do have merch available there, and it is pretty cool. And we'll be changing out some of them sometime soon, and stickers and whatnot. But definitely show your support for Come With Us podcast, because everybody should come with us. We're the happy place to be. All right. So Viking, what advice would you have let's start with, for a man who wants to explore pegging? What advice would you have for him in terms of any thoughts on how he should ask for it, or what to expect, or anything like that? Or any advice for a woman who wants to explore this?
Well, I think the answer is kind of unisex, right? I think it's something you start discussing with your partner, asking them if they've heard of it. Like we started off this podcast, have you seen this before? Have you done it? Would you be interested in trying it?
Do you think, for you, is there anything about like having it done that makes you feel more submissive? Do you think it's just a dominant or submissive thing, or not?
I think the default answer on that is yes, but for me, I'm a stimulus junkie, and this is the one or two things that I like that kind of fall into what you would say the bottom or the submissive category.
I like that, which is stimulus junkie. Our passion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for 30 years, I had no idea how sensitive my nipples were, and then I finally had a girlfriend who pinched them, and I was like, "What in the heck was that?"
Yes.
I refer to the whole battery moment where you're like, "How did I not know these two things had all this power?"
I know.
And
hell, I learned to squirt in my 50s and was like, I did not know my body could do this, and it's pretty fucking awesome. Wow, let's do that again. Yeah. Okay.
As far as actual execution goes, we already mentioned the good quality lube, the right type, and a lot of it. The other thing is to start off really slow, right? I mean, especially if it's your first time and nothing's ever been up there. There have been a few times where we didn't use enough lube or something, and all of a sudden it was like time out, or
code
let's
blue.
go back to something. Yeah,
code blue, technical difficulty, code blue. Yes.
I think once or twice it's been blue, and once or twice it's been red. Where I'm
stop everything. This is because that's the problem. If you don't have good lube, if your butt gets irritated, you want to stop immediately, because otherwise you just aggravate it, and then you train your body that this action is going to be painful, and we don't want. It's the same thing with vaginal sex. It's just not worth doing it. You want to just stop, let everything recoup, because everything about sexy should be pleasurable.
Yeah, in fact, even a lot of the times when we're doing it, like right out of the gate, I'll usually say more lube, because if you can back out and just drop some lube on top of the strap on, and then go back in, and it's all gonna go in there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. And go ahead.
Oh, and I would say, you don't necessarily have to completely dive in. Like we were discussing earlier, you might start with one of those little kind of finger-sized toys and play around with something little before just kind of going for the whole experience.
Okay. That's probably very smart. So I think going slow, and probably the same thing is true for women with anal sex, that you want to kind of build up. What about, did you do any sort of quote anal training? Like, there are different butt plugs in different sizes. Did you do that, or had you just been doing that along the way anyway? So,
no, I definitely have played with butt plugs before my first strap-on session.
Okay.
And I actually, for couples wanting to have more fun, I mean, both of you having a butt plug in during normal sex completely, that's the turbo on the sports car, right? If both of you try that one night, both of you
a prostate massager, having that in while you're penetrating somebody is, I think, for a man's standpoint, definitely the turbo too. So. Okay, that's good. So you played with stuff. So don't just think you can go from 0 to 60. Don't just go get a good sized dildo and think, okay, I've never done anything. Here we go. You might like it, but you might like it a lot more if you go slower. And the slow is still tons of fun, right? Playing with a butt plug, playing with somebody's fingers in your butt. Again, it's not like just because these are, quote, smaller doesn't mean it's not nearly as much fun. So.
Oh, well, going slow. If you think about the beginning, if your woman's got you on all fours and she's really just stimulating and lubricating you, you're kind of sitting there like a puppy going like, I can't wait for this to happen. And she's going, it's going to happen in a minute.
Whenever I want to.
So you going slow builds up that energy level as well.
So I think it's important, though, for people who are contemplating this sort of play, but think that inherently that they have to, if they're on the receiving end of pegging, they think that that makes them submissive. I think that if we think of it like blowjobs, you can receive a blowjob from somebody in a very submissive posture or in a very dominant posture, right? You can be directing the action, even though you're the one receiving the blowjob. And the same thing, I think, from pegging. So be really aware of that and don't just think, oh, well, I'm dominant or I'm the more the choreographer of the sexy and therefore I can't be on the receiving end, because I think you definitely can be. And I even know people who are in serious BDSM, DS, dominant submissive relationships, and the submissive will do the pegging action in a service mode, which is I'm doing this, you tell me how, when, how fast to go, when to speed up, what to do. And it's still, everybody maintains whatever roles they want. So you can play with them, you can switch them, but don't think that it's inherently one or the other, because it's all about what you make of it.
Yeah, you just described exactly how I do it. I mean, I'm the choreographer, and I'm the one who chooses when we're happy or doing it, and yeah, what positions we're going to do and where we're going to do it.
Yeah, and then you can delegate too. You can say, okay, you can be in charge of when things go in, so that you get to be on the, have that suspense, if you will. But I do think that's very, again, the same way people want to say, oh, this is only for gay people, or this is only for straight people, or this is only for vanilla, whatever. That's all, throw it all out. Find what works for you and find whatever pleasure, sensations, experiences you enjoy, your partner enjoys, and then find a way to maximize it for everybody, I think. Well, any questions, Tina? Anything you want to know about before you peg somebody else again?
No, this has been extremely comprehensive. I've learned a lot.
Yeah?
For sure. Yeah.
My hips are moving. Are yours?
Yes. If I was in a sexier mood, yes.
There you go.
Sure.
That's right. And sometimes you just, we just have a day and we're not so much into it, but it's good to know, to have it, to store it away. And at some point, these thoughts will entertain.
I have another one story or thing to tell. Okay. So, me personally, if I'm having sex, if we're doing a lot of different things, if we ignore the penis for too long, it sometimes gets soft, and then sometimes I can't get it stimulated again. And used to be something that bothered me. Well, I have a male harness. It looks like a post-apocalyptic strap-on, or not strap-on, but jock strap.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've grabbed the dildo and I've put it on, and I've pegged both of my girlfriends.
Okay, there you go. So I think that's thank you for bringing that up. And you're right. So there are dildos that are specifically designed so that you can put a flaccid or semi-flaccid cock inside, and a man can be using it, and so that the fucking penetrative action can continue regardless of how many times he's come or not come or what medication or anything like that. So that's a very thank you. That's a very good hint for people to have, and it can definitely take the pressure off. There's so many men who are like, oh shit, I don't think I can stay hard this, or I'm afraid if I come too fast and whatever. Well, now who cares? Doesn't matter if you come too fast or come too slow. Drink too much whiskey.
Yeah, I have the hollow one, but I also just have the jock strap to where you just use the standard strap on.
Oh, there you go.
I've used both of those, but yeah, like you said,
either one.
Pegging takes the pressure off in general, right? If I'm being pegged,
right,
I don't have to be strong enough to penetrate, you know, and if I want to, I can peg someone and we could have sex for 2 hours straight. We could switch positions. She can get on top.
I had a guy tell me that he could fuck me for an hour straight. This is on a first date. And I looked at him and I was like, I would be so bored. I cannot even tell you. The idea of being fucked for an hour does not appeal to me. But thanks. We didn't have a second date. But you're right. Sorry.
This microphone almost got covered in Diet Pepsi.
Sorry. But, it's true. But, hey, some people want to fuck for 2 hours. That's fine and dandy. Again, what floats my boat is not what floats everybody else's boat. And that's totally okay. Which is why I love hearing about what floats everybody else's boat. So, all right, Aaron, any questions?
How early into, so when you're in a new relationship with somebody, how long do you wait before you, I guess, bring that into your sex life with them? Or is it just from day one, you're like, hey, by the way, this is what I like as well?
Yeah, I almost think there's a vanilla answer and then there's a BDSM answer, because in the BDSM world, communication and consent and everything, we learn that really well in our community. And our FetLife pages have a lot of the things we're into. So you almost have the sex resume of your partner when you're in the kink world, whereas in the vanilla world, it's the exact opposite. Things start to come out over time. And
Yeah, it's true. In the kink world, you learn about somebody's sexy desires before you learn what their vanilla looks like too much. And in the vanilla world, we tend to start with our exterior, our public persona, and then only go slowly divulging our personal persona and sexual persona. So, but I think, so let's say you do a mixture of both. I know you've found people in all sorts of different ways and in real life. So how do you merge those two? Basically, as a kinky person in a mainstream vanilla world, how open are you about your kinky if you just meet somebody in a vanilla situation?
I normally don't really bring it up. It can be really random and really surprising. So, I mean, it is bedroom stuff, right? It is your sex life and as well as your relationship style. But I typically don't really bring it up. But if the conversation hits the table, I'm not shy, you know, because it also gives you a chance to read the room, right? If the four of us, if I was kinky and the three of you were vanilla and we were at a bar and one of you brought up kink and the other two were immediately disgusted, I would just be on Facebook going, not getting this discussion,
Right. Peace. Nice. I think that's true. I think I date a lot, even from vanilla sites. And I am fairly open even on first dates. I don't necessarily go into the extent perhaps of my kinky desires, but I make it clear that I'm a submissive. And again, my language is very easy. I say, if I'm not turned on, I want to be in charge. To turn me on, I better not be in charge. And I found I have to do that because otherwise when people meet me, they assume from my outward persona that I'm a dominant even in the bedroom. Because in vanilla life, I'm very dominant. I'm an alpha female. Sexually, that's not the case. So I have to, if I want to find the right people, I have to tell them that at the start. Otherwise, I'm attracting the people who are looking for submissive. So I have to figure out how to put that in my profile. I tried, but it doesn't necessarily come across. But I don't know. But I think you're like that too. I think you pretty much show up as who you are. And if people aren't open to sort of different, alternative sexy things, then they're probably not the people for you. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's I think that's probably true. So all right, any other? This is so interesting. I think now I don't know. I want to know how long does a pegging session usually is it kind of like just a 3-minute kind of thing, or is it kind of like a full 20 minutes of pegging? Do you have a sense of that for you?
I would definitely say it's longer than 3 minutes, but shorter than 20. Okay. I don't think I've gone for super long periods of time doing it.
Okay.
It is fun to jump around too, though, right? Like get on top, kind of. What is it,
positions?
Cowgirl? I guess we got to call it cowboy.
Oh yeah. Okay. God.
Is that true? Is that true? You have to call it cowboy now?
No, I just made that up. Trying to make something new.
In my head, I was trying to picture the position and trying to swap it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't do that.
And then there's
easily.
reverse cowboy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, there you go. So, all right, cool. Well, I hope everybody out there now has a smile on their face just thinking about it. Whether you think it's for you or you're like Aaron, you're like, I'm not sure, but again, don't rule it out because life is long. And it is nice to have just a list of opportunities and experiences that you might be willing to consider sometime in the future. You just never know. And I promise you, if you're with a partner who's really into something and you give it a try, sometimes their enthusiasm can rub off on you. I'm not the best of bowlers, but if I go with people who love to bowl, it's so much fun for me to be bowling with them. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to sexy, that try it. You might like it. Try it a few times because it's weird. Don't be afraid to say, oh, this is weird. This makes me blush. I'm embarrassed. I might not do it right. I don't know how. But be safe and be careful and then see what happens. And then let us know so we can share your excitement with you.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Come With Us Podcast, on Twitter at Come With Us Pod. And email us any questions, comments, concerns, stories. Any of it stays anonymous. Come with us confessions@gmail.com. Hit us up.
Perfect. Well, thank y'all so much. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius, and this is the podcast you need when you want the bare naked truth about love, sex, and relationships. Thank you, Aaron, thank you, Tina, and of course, thank you, Viking, for sharing so honestly and openly with us and giving us all the opportunity to learn what it's like and to have some pretty fun images in our mind, if I do say so myself. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.